Now this is your coronal suture. The squamous part is this squamous part of the temporal bone. This is your superior and inferior temporal lines. You have a temporal line here and you have a temporal line here. And this is your condyle. This is the parietal eminence. This is the lambdoid suture. Then postclenoid tubercle, suprameatal spine, supramastoid crest, mastoid part of temporal bone. So this is the mastoid part of temporal bone. Then this is your superior nuchal line. This is the external occipital protuberance. This is the tympanic part. This is the mastoid process. This is the neck of the mandible. This is the angle of the mandible. This is the oblique line. Mental tubercle. This is the mental foramen. Incisive fossa, alveolar part, body of the mandible, ramus of the mandible, incisive fossa, alveolar process, canine fossa. This is the coronet process. This is the zygomaticofacial foramen, frontal process, nasal bone. This is the crest of the lacrimal bone, frontal process. And this is your zygomatic process. You can see the suture here. So this is the frontal process and this is your zygomatic process. And the greater wing of sphenoid is this one. This border. Greater wing of sphenoid. Zygomatic arches here. The tubercle is here. Frontal eminence, squamous part. Okay. So that is your lateral aspect of the skull. Now your lateral skull. No, that is your posterior skull now. This is sagittal suture, posterior aspect of the skull. This is the parietal bones, two parietal bones. This is the lambda. And this is the lambdoid suture. This is the squamous part of the occipital bone. This is the superior nuchal line. This is the external occipital protuberance. This is the mastoid process. This is the styloid process. This is the external occipital crest. This is the occipital condyle. Then this is the inferior nuchal line. You have the superior nuchal line here and the inferior nuchal line here. Then this is the mastoid foramen in occipito-mastoid suture. This is the parieto-mastoid suture, that is between the parietal bone and the mastoid bone. You have the parieto-mastoid suture. This is the superior temporal line. This is the inferior temporal line. So that is it. Petrous temporal bone forms the floor of the middle cranial fossa and separates the middle and posterior cranial fossa. Middle meningeal artery is located in the middle cranial fossa. That middle meningeal artery will exit through foramen spinosum.